Coming up next on Good Morning El Paso, trial continuing today for Lizbeth Garrett. She's the woman accused of killing her husband. We'll have updates from the trial and what to expect as this case is moving forward.
El Paso's looking into where to put the downtown arena. You'll see how the city is making the plan move faster. And our storm track weather forecast coverage continues. We are still under a first alert, and we saw plenty of rain and hail hit the borderland.
Welcome back to Good Morning El Paso, everyone. Thanks for joining us today. I'm Floren.
And I'm Stephanie Valle. Did you saw all of that rain and the hail? We had so many videos and photos pouring into the newsroom.
Yeah, does this look familiar to you? Because if you live on the west side, this is what you may have seen on that afternoon commute. We had heavy rain, big pieces of hail hitting some parts, and it didn't last too long, but it still left mounds of ice throughout the city. We are still under that first alert this morning.
So let's send things back over to Storm Track meteorologist Crystal Clay, who has been tracking all of these changes now. Crystal.
A good morning, everyone. Almost at afternoon, because I'm already thinking of this afternoon when these stormy conditions are expected to come right back into the forecast. Let's start with our clouds and radar map. This morning we see that along the northern parts of our viewing zone, we are tracking thunderstorms, a line of them with lightning moving over I-25 near TRC. There's spotty rain over Otero and Lincoln counties, but all of this is moving off to the northeast, meaning at this point it's not quite yet affecting El Paso, Las Cruces. The moisture is there, though. The dynamics we need for stormy conditions are still in place, which is why we're still under that storm track weather first alert. Again, mid-afternoon through your early evening, we are looking at the potential of strong to severe thunderstorms. Our temperatures out there, we're at 60 in El Paso and 55 Las Cruces, 40s for Ruidoso, and even Deming now at 49. Certainly feels a bit chilly this morning. I have to say, you guys were amazing yesterday, sending us a lot of viewer photographs, and we want to get to some of those right now, showing off the photos that were sent in. Look at the accumulation of hail there. It looks like a snowy day in winter in West El Paso, the Upper Valley. Guys, these pictures were just absolutely amazing, and I know we were all snapping them at home too.
Yeah, some of those clouds even pretty impressive like that one you see there. I actually had a lot of hail on my car, and I was driving near Sunland Park, and I actually had someone stop me and ask me, where did you just come from with all that hail? So it just depended on where you were, because then you drive a block away and it was sunshine. Just the most bizarre thing.
Yeah, very unusual. And being in Northeast, we saw the clouds, we heard the thunder, but it seemed to bypass us and went straight over to far northeast, east side, but yeah, a lot of places got hit really hard, as you can see in all of these pictures. Again, thank you for sharing all of these with us on our Facebook and Twitter pages. Moving on now, closing arguments are happening today in the trial of Lizbeth Garrett. The former Eastwood High School teacher is accused of murdering her husband back in 1977. Yesterday, her defense team did not call any witnesses and instead rested its case. It was Lizbeth's other son, Patrick, who broke his silence to police and put an end to the 35-year-old cold case. He says his brother Roger admitted to stabbing and beating Chester Garrett in 1977. Patrick even told the jury he helped his mother and brother clean a large stain on the garage floor shortly after his father's death. Roger's already serving a 40-year prison sentence, and closing arguments start today at 9 a.m.
There is new information now on the former Jefferson High School teacher and football coach accused of having sex with a student. Court documents obtained by our ABC7i team state 31-year-old Joel Provencio allegedly sent explicit text messages to the 16-year-old girl. El Paso School District officials say the teen was a student in his geometry class. Provencio allegedly gave her rides. Police say she told them Provencio began texting her last year, asking her to send him nude photos of herself. Court documents say the two had sex 3 different times at his home. Investigators discovered nude photos and explicit messages Provencio allegedly sent to the girl. Provencio is charged with improper relationship between an educator and a student.
The city will soon be looking to buy the land where the downtown arena will sit. Council authorized the city manager to sign all the contracts on behalf of the city. He won't have to go back to council for permission every time he needs to sign a new contract, as long as the contracts stay within the project's budget. They did this once before during construction of the downtown ballpark.
We still have to comply with all the procurement laws, but the only difference is, instead of bringing the, piecemealing the contracts, bringing them back every week to City Council, he'll be able to sign them as long as he stays within his project budget.
And that budget is $50,000. With it, he can get appraisers, surveyors, and anything else they need to get ready for buying the real estate.
A new incentive plan is in the works to help bring more businesses here to El Paso. City Council met yesterday to talk about how to bring companies here, discussing plans like increasing incentives to the veterans' populations. They're enhancements that they say aren't happening anywhere else in the country. Mayor Oscar Leeser says they've been giving incentives now for the past 2 years and they've already begun to pay off. The new plan is set to come out November 3rd. Also out of City Hall, a former political opponent has started a recall petition against City Rep Larry Romero, citing the street controversy in which Romero worked with the city to pave his home street, even though it was not on the approved list of streets in need of repair. Adam Garola says he's also disappointed in Romero's support of payday lenders. But we asked Garola if this was a politically motivated move meant to position himself for attention to run against Romero during the next election.
The reason that I started this campaign to recall Larry Romero was not to benefit me. I was sitting back and I was having people call me and test me and ask me, yo, if you're the voice of the people like you say you are, if you're out there advocating for us, how could you sit back and let these things happen?
Petitioners have about 3 months now to gather a little more than 1,000 signatures of registered voters in District 2.
A new database is promising to help researchers and healthcare providers improve the health of El Pasoans. It's called the El Paso Community Health Atlas. It's an interlocal agreement between the city of El Paso and UTEP. The Health Atlas will gather information from medical sources, share statistics, and provide analysis to researchers.
Our mission is to provide the most advanced research database with analytical tools such as cognitive computing, advanced visualization, advanced statistical analysis.
The agreement will last until October 2018, during which time the city will pay UTEP up to $600,000 with funding from the Texas Healthcare and Quality Improvement Program.
A major change from the American Cancer Society on mammograms this morning. It is changing its recommendations for the first time in more than a decade, now telling women they can wait longer for that first exam. We have Good Morning El Paso's Denise Olivas live with the details for this story. Good morning.
Good morning, Hillary. This news comes during Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and the American Cancer Society now saying that healthy women should get their first mammogram at the age of 45 instead of 40. The American Cancer Society says women between the ages of 45 and 54 who do have a risk of developing breast cancer should get an exam every year. And as long as the patient is healthy, after the age of 55, it recommends a mammogram every other year. So what women may also find surprising is that it is also recommending that doctors and nurses no longer need to do breast exams in which they feel for lumps around the breast area. The American Cancer Society says that manual exams have never proven that they save lives. Well, these new guidelines come as new evidence says that mammograms often produce false positives in younger women, resulting in additional testing and surgery that is often unnecessary. Stephanie, back to you.
Okay, Denise, thank you. As one hopeful drops out of the Democratic bid for president, another may be getting ready to step up and run. Andy Rose has the latest.
One fewer Democratic candidate vying for the White House.
I'm withdrawing from any consideration of being the Democratic Party's nominee for the presidency.
Former Virginia Senator Jim Webb ended his Democratic bid for president on Tuesday. Webb never caught enough momentum in the primary to compete with heavy hitters like Hillary Clinton or Senator Bernie Sanders, but he isn't completely bowing out of the race. Webb says he will meet with people from across the political spectrum to consider a third-party run for president.
How I remain as a voice will depend on what kind of support I'm shown in the coming weeks as I meet with people from all sides of America's political landscape, and I intend to do that.
And as Webb potentially makes a transition to run as an independent, speculation over if Vice President Joe Biden will make a run is growing. Subtle jabs between Biden and Hillary over policy and political style have some wondering if the decision has already been made. But time is running out. Biden has until next Thursday to make and announce his 2016 decision if he wants to be a serious candidate who's on all ballots. I'm Andy Rose reporting.
Polling hasn't shown a groundswell of support for Biden. A CNN ORC national poll out Monday shows that just 18% of Democratic primary voters would back Biden. Now they're behind Clinton at 45%, and Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders has 29%.
10 minutes after 6, and here's that live look at traffic. If you're heading out right now, it looks really nice. You shouldn't run into any problems. I-10 and DeSarco also looking good. Just don't forget to grab that umbrella.
And exactly, we'll talk about our storm track forecast in a second, but first, the religious community coming together after a number of churches are set on fire.
What these churches all have in common, also what the community is doing to respond, coming up.
And we are under that first alert, as we've been telling you, and meteorologist Crystal Clay has your forecast. Crystal.
We're going to take a look at exactly what happened yesterday, but more importantly, we're going to talk about if it'll happen again today. Your raincast is a few minutes away.
Looking forward to it. Thanks, Crystal. This is ABC 7, where news comes first.